Hey everybody, indie author Martin Parise here, and I'd like to show you something incredible. Pardon the blue paint. This room used to be, hi Claire, this room used to be my oldest son's room and he moved out. So we have moved my area out of the big room with all the computers and have moved a whole bunch of my stuff in here, and I'm going to show you everything little by little. So we're going to start up at the very top of this bookcase. We have Funko Pops that my wife got me for Christmas because she was a pop fiend for a while. You've got He-Man on Battle Cat because why not? He's awesome. Mad Max because why not? He's awesome. Then you've got these Star Trek Pops. You've got Kirk in his command chair. You've got Mirror Kirk. You've got Khan, original series Khan. Then you got Mirror Sulu, Mirror Uhura, and Mirror Spock. And you see the top two Shatners or Kirks are signed by Shatner. That one I think came signed. That one I had him sign at GalaxyCon. Here you have my TBR list. Oh my God. By the way, that's a whole stack of books. It's a series. And you can see a lot of these are double stacked. Oh shit! Look, there's two shelves of it. Yeah, it just keeps growing. After that, though, we're getting into stuff that I've read. This is my, not sure what it is. This is my philosophical shelf, I guess you might say. You've got a little bit of Japanese stuff over here. Musashi. Oh my gosh. If you have not read this novel, you must read it. I have read it 3 times. It is a novelization of Miyamoto Musashi, the samurai that invented two-sword fighting. And I've got some other stuff in here, Secrets of the Samurai. I've got the Book of Five Rings, some Japanese literature. And then I move into epistemology and philosophy. You see I've got a lot of Ayn Rand. I should let you know you are going to see some questionable shelving choices and questionable books. But, we all had our phases, and these books do have a special place in my heart for certain times. But you also see Aristotle, Plato, St. Thomas Aquinas, all sorts of stuff. The Necronomicon, which is a joke among H.P. Lovecraft fans. Here we move into my art books. These are the books that are by Chris Kiefer. I've shown you those before. 5 art books of Luis Arroyo. Down here, Preston and Child. It's not, you notice, sorry about the glare, you notice it's not completely full. That's because they're going to write more books. But this is all the Pendergast books, all the Nora Kelly books. Down here we got random RPG stuff. Acton Cthulhu, which I'm currently playing with my Roll20 group. How can you go wrong with World War II pulp action fighting, occult Nazis? The Walking Dead RPG, which I've never played, I backed on Kickstarter, and as well as Blade Runner, which I've played twice and will probably never play again. The old West End game Star Wars RPG, and some Star Trek stuff. Then again, we have Claire. My one box of randomness I still need to go over. This is my computer workstation. 2 monitors, because you have to have 2 giant monitors. It's just the way that works. So here we've got 2 giant bookcases. They're not giant, they're 2 foot wide, but we're going to start at the top. Ellen Ripley in the Power Loader, the Alien Queen, awesome. And then this is the Alien artist proof that I picked up at GalaxyCon. And then, as you'd probably guess, 2 shelves of Alien. I haven't organized it yet by order or what have you, but Alien and Predator, a couple of Predator pops there. Alien RPG stuff, which I'm just all over that. David's drawings. This book was awesome. It's all the drawings from Prometheus. From Alien Covenant. The Wayland Files, which is a book that everything they know about the Xenomorph. Alien Vault, which was for the 40th anniversary of the movie. All the pictures and backstories. More Alien RPG stuff, and then more Alien novels. This guy. My daughter drew this for me, and she made a bunch of them. Counters for Magic the Gathering. I don't use them because I really don't play. But, and this one's foil, obviously. You can tell by the refraction. But anyway, she drew that, and it's absolutely amazing. Next shelf, we come to Battletech. This is my old school Battletech stuff. My son took most of it with him, but he left me the stuff that was old school mine and he didn't want. The Jade Falcon and Wolf's Dragoon source books back when they made those all separately for individual units. Then the combined Crusader Warden clans. technical readouts. There's a bunch of mechs in there. Those are my old original assault mechs. I had a Marauder, a Battlemaster, an Atlas, and an Imp that were all painted in black, white, and red. BattleTech novels, and I had to shelf like a psychopath. I'm sorry, but that is obviously the entire Robert Thurston series. I know this copy of Way of the Clans is awful beat up. I've had it for 40 years, maybe close to it. But Blood Name, Falcon Guard, I Am Jade Falcon, which is the hard one to find. You've got all the Michael Stackpole books, a whole bunch of others, and obviously I have some empty space here because there's going to be more to come. I've got a bunch on the TBR shelf. And then for the part you're all waiting for, holy shit, yes, that is 3 shelves of Conan. Alpha Order by author, Carpenter to DeCamp and Lynn Carter to DeCamp and Howard, and then it just keeps on going down. And then I've got some of the oversides. Now, some of these aren't technically Conan, like People of the Dark, Road of Azrael, Echoes of Valor, but they're Conan adjacent or Robert E. Howard. And yes, I know I have multiple copies of some things. Okay, back off. The Robert Jordan, the Conan Chronicles. Yes, I know I've got all 3 of those novels. Right there in paperback. I don't care. I know I have Hour of the Dragon in paperback. I also have it in hardcover because I think that's a first edition. So, and then further down here, that is the entire Dark Horse run of Conan, which I have read. My little miniature letter opener, Conan Atlantean Sword, because I can't afford the $500 full-size replica. And then these are Conan RPG books from Modiphius. I wish I'd known about this when the Kickstarter ran. I'd have backed it all in as it is. I have all of the books except for 3, which I have printed out in binders. It's discontinued. And then we've got some of the Sumerian comic graphic novels, including one that's adjacent, Belit and Valeria, which is, the 2 characters in kind of BS, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going to move into nonfiction. We've got World War II stuff here. Now, up at the top, my son left behind a whole bunch of tank models, some of which need some work. I'm going to, we got a battle-damaged Tiger II right there, tracks coming off. We got a Yog Panther that's missing the gun and the tracks coming off. So I got a little work to do on these. I'll find the parts and I'll get them fixed. My M3 Lee, that's a pill bottle full of sand from Normandy. That is it's hard to tell, 3D printed T-2064 Super Pershing, a 3D printed M3 Stuart that didn't quite come out, the front end got cut off, a metal tank Sherman, M26 Pershing, Tiger 1, and Tiger 2 with the turret popped off, and another little Sherman. And then you start to see all my World War II books, and there's room here because I'm missing some. I know I'm missing some, I just don't know where they're at. So some of these are amazing, by the way. The Last Stand of the Tin Can Sailors is an incredible story about the destroyer escorts. Undermanned, undergunned, underarmored, taking on the Japanese Super Navy. Spearhead, incredible story of the T-26E3 Pershing called Eagle 7. Incredible book. And then I've got a lot of books on the Panzer operations, Achtung Panzer by Guderian. I've got a lot of those books because I love World War II history, but more importantly, I wanted to understand the way those guys thought and the way they fought and what they did. Because after all, I did write a book that takes place in World War II. And, tanks, armors kind of was a big thing. Moving on. D&D shelf, what little of it I still have. Tomb of Horrors box set from 2nd edition, I believe. Maybe it's 3rd, I don't remember. But inside that box is not just that Tomb of Horrors special edition campaign. I have the original S1, S2, and S3 modules all in there. I also have the original I6 Ravenloft module in there in mint condition. More importantly, yes, if you know what you're looking at, that is what you think it is. That is Deities and Demigods 1st edition with the Cthulhu mythos, which everyone says was discontinued because people said it was satanic. It was discontinued because the H.P. Lovecraft Foundation sued them. My wife found this for me, the original Dragonlance Adventures book. That's just a goofy little book that I picked up at a place called Babbage's back when I was a kid. These are all the Ravenloft modules for the Hyskoza Scroll series, if you remember those at all. The Annotated Chronicles by Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. And then here's a whole bunch of my novels. I've got Dragonlance Chronicles and Legends series. I've got Greyhawk stuff. I used to have basically every Dragonlance novel, and I got rid of them a long time ago for no good reason. Strahd von Zarovich Pop, complete with a D20. The very hard to find hardcover I Strahd by P.N. Elrod. This is the first Dungeons and Dragons based novel that came out in hardcover, and I bought it the day it came out. Vampire of the Mists and I Strahd, which are both about Strahd von Zarovich. Knight of the Black Rose features him as well. I Strahd, War of Azalin, I should say, features him as well. And this is also a favorite of mine because it's about Lord Soth, who is awesome. Kind of the Darth Vader of Dragonlance. Here we get into just random fantasy and sci-fi. You've got Frederick Pohl, the Heechee series, starting with Gateway, The Complete Enchanter, a whole bunch of stuff by David Eddings. I've got all 4 of his series here. I know David Eddings has fallen out of favor, and I understand why, because of his history in the 70s. At the same time, I grew up on these books, and they're not worth anything, so there's no point in getting rid of them. And then the bottom 2 shelves, we come to my All Things Cthulhu. At the very bottom here, we've got the 3 of the graphic novels by Francois Berenger, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong because he's French. He's got several more. I will get them eventually. My Cthulhu pocket watch that my Roll20 group got for me, which is incredible. The Adorable Cthulhu, the Less Than Adorable Cthulhu. That box set back there is actually 5 different books. It includes some Lovecraft, but it also includes Weird Tales by Howard. It also includes The Yellow Sign and The King in Yellow and some other stuff. It's a really cool set. The Cthulhu Mythos book by August Derleth, that is all his Cthulhu stories he wrote after the death of Lovecraft, as well as a bunch of just Cthulhu stories. I mean, yes, I know I've got the complete Cthulhu Mythos and the complete fiction of Lovecraft in leather-bound versions, and I know I've got other stuff that says Cthulhu. I know I've got the same stories over and over. Leave me alone. Up here, you've got Cthulhu-adjacent stuff, Cthulhu-esque stories, and inspired stories written by other authors, some of which who are very big names. And then I've got Darcy Coates, and then we just kind of get into general horror. All my Darcy Coates stuff, Matt Ruff, Who Goes There, the novella that inspired The Thing by John Campbell. So anyway, this was a ton of work. I really wanted to repaint the room, but because it's very blue, but I didn't want to take the time. This was a ton of work as it was to get this going and get this done. So I know it was a long video. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you around.